So we are almost 1,400 miles into driving the LFP battery Standard Range Plus, which right now is currently still available off menu, meaning not about calling in and ordering the car, but meaning if you order online, you're not getting the LFP battery in the normal order screen, which is the US nickel-based lithium-ion battery. This is the LFP battery that some of you have heard about. The battery pack is from China and the car is assembled here in the US, and it is something that they are producing to supplement the demand here in the United States. And long term, we could probably see the LFP battery replace all of their non-long range vehicles because there's an issue with density. That's why LFP hasn't been used in the past, is because they couldn't get enough range out of them. But as technology has progressed, they're getting pretty good range that matches what they wanted for the Standard Range Plus. The short of it, and at risk of reducing the watch time on the video, is if you're thinking about LFP, absolutely buy that over a brand new order. There's a variety of benefits to the LFP battery that we've seen with no degradation with 1,500 miles. So how do you tell that you have an LFP battery? Because we know as these enter the market, there's no badging, there's no visual indication on the car. So we've got almost 1,400 miles. The biggest, easiest way to tell if you have an LFP battery, if you're in an existing car, is if you go to the charge and you're setting the limit for your state of charge. The nickel-based batteries say trip above 90% and then daily driving in this range. Because this car always wants to be at 100% and you can charge it to 100%, that is visually missing from the charge screen. So that's the main way that we've seen in terms of difference. The other ways that you'll notice some difference in the day-to-day is, even though right now I'm at 89% charge, which is about 252 miles, this car is rated for 253 when you go to the order screen. You'll also notice when you're ordering online, the new orders say 262. That is the nickel-based US battery, not the LFP. You have to go to existing inventory for Standard Range Plus and see 253 as the rated range. So this really has had no battery degradation, which normally by this point I lost a few percent or more on my US-based Standard Range Plus lease that I have since sold to a dealer. And then at the end of the year, by the 6-month mark, I lost almost 10% of the max range. Day-to-day driving, I just changed it to percentage. I didn't really worry about it, but that 25-mile range really did impact on long road trips. It really actually made the car, you had to charge earlier or arrive at superchargers at a lower state of charge, and just wasn't great. So the first item is, as you can probably tell, the first main primary benefit with LFP is you can charge to 100% every day, all the time, the way things arguably should be. And the LFP battery is a technology that has existed well before Tesla even existed, and this is the million-mile battery. There may be others with the 4680 or the nickel battery. Will get to 1,000,000 miles where you can charge and discharge the battery and it can last that long with a certain state of charge. This technology can already do that. It lasts many more cycles with little to no degradation, charging to 100%. The chemistry is just different and the technology allows it to do that. And you know that at 100% at 250 or 252 miles, that is much better than getting a nickel-based battery at 262, but only charging at 80 to 90%. And then with the degradation that I experienced, my max charge every day at 100% ended up being about 225 on the nickel-based car, and then 90% of that you're getting barely 200, 80% of that you're now at 175 to 180. That is your daily driving. You're losing 75 miles on your day-to-day driving because you're not taking a road trip to keep your battery health high, versus with this car, suddenly that's 75 miles more, assuming you're getting the efficiency. But the point is that for most commuters, that's charging your car much less frequently every week. Every week, if you have to charge one less time because you're able to pull out 75 more miles between charging, is a huge plus. And also just generally every day being at 100%, you have a lot more range and battery. Here's the other thing. That 75 miles, that's a big deal. That's almost the delta between long range and standard range. If we were just comparing 100% to 100%, it's like 90 miles, let's say. That 75 miles, it's not just about miles, it's just about power. You can run your AC, You can keep your climate on longer. You can charge your phones, listen to music, just a lot less worry in your day-to-day usage of the car that your battery percentage is going to be keep ticking lower in just the day-to-day usage on longer trips or longer driving. You just want that security. If you have Sentry mode on, that takes a decent amount of power from the car. You'll notice if you have Sentry mode on and you wake up the next day, like you've lost a decent amount of range to keep the monitoring service on the vehicle. So just having that extra power at 100% to just use in your day-to-day without risking the battery damage is so valuable. The other benefits is at 100% state of charge with the nickel-based battery, and even below that, at like 95, 96, 97, you'll start to see that the regenerative braking doesn't work as well, if at all. It says on the screen, regenerative braking reduced, and it will kick back in as you start to use up more battery. So the car will start to roll forward considerably. You don't have that resistance to slow you down. You basically lose one pedal driving for a period of time because the energy has nowhere to go. I don't know the answer to why this doesn't occur in the LFP, but it's a huge win. You're charging daily to 100%, and you have just as much regenerative braking at 100% as the nickel-based battery does at, let's say, 90%. Or less. You just don't run into that issue, and that issue is completely gone. I will say, like, if you're in the used car market or just thinking about buying it, really keep your eyes out for an LFP. Brand new orders today of the base Standard Range Plus are August 2022 here in Arizona when I look to place an order, which I'm not going to, but I was just looking at the latest estimates. If you do any type of upgrade, let's say you're getting the $1,500 upgraded wheels or paying for paint, that delivery date moves up to May. But something just to keep in mind, this is the garage, is you cannot order a brand new LFP custom. One day I think you will. I really think this is going to be the new standard. It just lasts forever, and the ability to charge to 100 is just, it is underrated. That extra power that you get to use in your day-to-day. We've noticed zero performance issues. It doesn't feel any slower. Charging is fine. The day-to-day usage is perfect. And you really can use this on long road trips, because if you're going and driving even from here to San Diego, you're stopping 2 to 3 times. You can usually get away with 2, especially if you have no degradation. You can easily get to San Diego in 2 trips. And this is talking about almost 400 miles of driving for a trip like that, or if you're going to Sedona, or if you're in another part of the country where it's cold, there may be concerns there, but with preconditioning the battery, that kind of takes care of these issues. The AC, weirdly, I don't know if this is related to LFP or not, but my long range 21 and this LFP, the AC is for some reason quieter. It feels like this is not, I'm not saying that it doesn't have it, but it feels as quiet and performs as well as the 2020 Standard Range Plus that we have. The newer ones have a heat pump, which are more efficient, but I guess are maybe louder, or maybe I just have an issue with my long range. I took it in for service. They said there's no problems with the AC, but it's louder. I can like hear the AC through the car despite the new double pane front windows and any insulation updates that they've made. But the performance of the AC and the LFP is as good as my 2020 prior to the heat pump, and I don't hear the AC in the Standard Range Plus. I don't know why. It may be just a coincidence. Maybe the LFP is using the older AC and not the heat pump, but if it is using the heat pump, I don't know why the battery matters with noise. But it's like this whiny, it's not like I'm hearing the AC, it's maybe like something powering the AC. I don't know. But the performance of that is really solid. So I'm a huge fan of the LFP pack. I wish that I could get 350 miles in my long range with the LFP, but overall impressions is zero performance issues, zero build quality issues. It is just far superior in nearly every aspect of day-to-day usage. It's not saying there's downsides with LFP that you can do your own research on. There's been concerns around cold weather, performance, and things of that, but if you're using this as a daily driver, just like locally in some long, like it's so much better, and you potentially can get your car faster than waiting till August of 2022 or May of 2022. It is worth more in my opinion, and knowing what I know now, I would pay more for an LFP battery over the nickel-based US brand new ones, and even Elon said he would pick LFP because of the abilities to charge to 100%. So I hope this is helpful for those of you thinking about the LFP battery. Just hands down the greatest, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.